Yo, it's Karma Shae in the building with our first episode of Karma Shae's Minding Other People's Business. What not to do and how to avoid certain situations. Of course, if you don't know, I'm your host, Karma Shae, bringing you here one time for the one time. So let's go ahead and get started into this. Now, I know you're probably understanding how does this show work, right? So what we have is a topic box where I will go and take different situations, different terms, whatever the case may be that you want to use, and I will throw them inside of our box. Once I get enough suggestions, I will go ahead and start pulling out, and we will dig into what people want to answer and people want to know for the week. Our background music today is going to be the song Choosing from Young Hob out of Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to him. Thank you for this wonderful song. I will be sure to play it at the end so that way you can hear it all the way through. So because I know, of course, I'm talking over it right now. So, but you'll be able to hear the song word for word if you like the vibe right at the end as soon as we get done. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So, blind topic. I don't know what's going on. We're just going to see. All right. Well, our subject of today is on family and the domino effect of the parent and how their trauma also scars you. So, excuse me. This is really good, by the way. One thing one thing I would say as we could use it as a race thing and just say for black people or African Americans, that we have a bad habit of showing the love that we were given to our kids in some of the most aggressive and abusive ways, simply because that is how we received love, and that is how we show it. Like different things in the home that might cause issues, like say for instance your mom is an alcoholic, right? And mind you, you don't have to necessarily become an alcoholic just because you've seen it in the home and just because your mom or somebody you know has basically caused that, or you're not going to be that person just because that's how your parents were necessarily. But you do pick up certain traits and habits based off of how you perceive certain things. So like say for instance, like I said, your mom's an alcoholic, right? You're not going to become an alcoholic, but you might become the opposite. You might actually become someone who is ambitious, someone who is goal driven, someone whose focus does not unwaver from what you are trying to do. However, now you have a personal vendetta against alcoholics. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times you don't exactly become your parent, because you can switch it. However, you do live your life, and your attitude and your vibes and everything is according to how you come off. So for me, I'll use a personal thing. My stepdad was, in lack of better terms, very aggressive as a parent. Sometimes unnecessary aggression. And not because he was just my stepdad, he just didn't want to be my father. But I honestly perceived it as, once we went to go visit his family at the family reunion, and I saw how his parents and how their family interacted and how they, did things and operated things, you could kind of see where and why he had a lot of that, aggression towards certain things with children or certain situations with between two parents, like even with my mother, it's just certain things that when it happens to you as a kid, you do drag into your children. And a lot of people don't believe that, but if you say it's not true, then I want you to go ahead and think of some things that you've had dealing or dwelling with your parents. And you tell me exactly, was there anything that you picked up or anything that you do differently or anything that, that morphs you to not be them, to either be like them or to not be them. Now, like I said, that can go one of two ways. The show is not to say that everything is going to be either negative or positive. We're looking at both aspects. So certain things you can take from the family will empower you. Like I said, just because your parent does one thing, or just because whoever your guardian is, because it doesn't have to necessarily be a parent. Maybe you were raised more by your grandma. Maybe you were raised more by your uncle or your aunt, just whoever was overseeing you as a child, you pick up traits from them, and sometimes they are good and sometimes they are bad, which is why they always say as a child, you be careful about what you say and about what you do in front of your children, because they do pick up on everything, regardless of whether you want them to or not. There's certain things that they're going to receive more just because it intrigued their interest. Mind you, you might have told them something that was completely good and they heard you, but you didn't spark their interest like something negative did. And so that stuck with them, and they took that and they ran with it. So a lot of times it's just easier for you as a parent to realize, or as a child, well, an older child, because I can't say like a younger child. Even when you're a teenager, you still pick up things. So I would honestly just say, on the parents' behalf, just try to be careful. Really, 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 really try to be mindful of what you instill in your children. Because me not having any children but being an adult, I do certain things differently just because of how my childhood was, or seeing certain people's childhood live out. It makes you want to do a lot of things hella differently, but when you become an adult, now you are honestly, if I said all of that and you took it into being an adult, now you're going to believe that it is okay for you to make that as being an excuse to be who you are. And that is the domino effect. At this point, you are an adult and you can realize right from wrong. You know what your parents did. Some stuff was knowledgeable and you take with you, but some things could have been done a little differently. At that point, as an adult, you need to decipher the difference between, okay, so yeah, they may have done this, but it can't affect me this way, because I was the biggest person on putting the blame of my hurt on someone else. I had that bad. And some days I still have hiccups, but I am learning and I'm growing from that. But when you become an adult, you are very, very aware of what's right and what's wrong. There is no need at this point to use your parenting or your parents as an excuse as to why you are the way that you are. At this point, you just have adapted to either hearing that, or you have adapted in your head, well, I am this, and so that's who the fuck you are. There's really no way around that. If you're gonna keep saying like, okay, yeah, I'm a product of my parent, I'm a product of what they did this to me, but it's all negative. Hell yeah, you gonna be this big ass ball of shit that don't nobody want to be around. And then it all plays into work, it plays into friends, it plays into relationships, everything. The domino effect is a very powerful thing, because what you perceive from your childhood, you take with you to every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life. But at some point, you do have to decipher what parts go with you to your adulthood. Some things, yeah, I mean, it was maybe fucked up the way that it happened. Maybe it was completely backwards the way motherfuckers did shit. Maybe it was completely sideways the way shit happened. That shit does happen. It does. And at that point, you can't dwell on it, though. You know, you got to fix it. Because now, if you don't fix it, you're domino affecting to your children what you did not want to give to them, but you were focused so hard on not doing it, you did it. That shit is real. Like, if you think about not ruining your kids' lives, and if you think about not hurting your kids, and if you think about doing this so much, you will actually fuck around and hurt your kids, and, you know, get them to a point mentally where it's just kind of like, bro, what the fuck? I'm supposed to be able to come to you. Now you got me to the point where I'm just like, nah, I'm straight. I'll figure it out. I mean, shit. It is what it is. You feel me? I see it often, and me being patient as far as the parenting thing, not in no rush. It happens when it happens, and I'm grateful for that. But seeing a lot of parents and the way that they operate with their children makes me take mental notes of what I do not want to do with my child. And that is why we are here. We are here to explore what not to do. So, now that we understand that there is a fucking domino effect, and everything that you do instills to your child and into your grandchild and into your great-grandchild, little do the fuck you know, everything you instill into your child goes on to your generation. It goes into generations beyond. It's not just one. It dominoes into everything. So, now that you understand that it's not just your child that you're saving when you do certain things a different way, you're actually saving your grandchild. You're actually saving your great-grandchild. You're saving generations down the line. It will be that. But now that you have an understanding that it's critical what you think and what you feel and what you do around your children, and when you get that concept, then you understand how important it is to instill the fact that when they wake up, they should tell themselves that they are the greatest thing in the world, because they are. Little things like that. You know, little things like if she come downstairs and say she, put a little bowl, you got your daughter and she put a little bowls in her hair, like, oh my gosh, yes, girl, you bomb. You know how to do hair? Yes, that's something you can pursue. Like, always instill dreams. Because the more you don't instill dreams, the more you instill nightmares. And then now you're wondering why your grandkid is fucked up. Maybe you should look at how you started that shit. So it's just as long as I honestly believe that as long as, don't get me wrong, you're going to take everything from being a adult, so it's like you're going to take everything from growing up and instill it into your adult life. But what you need to understand is how to decipher the difference and how to break basically those generational curses. Those are what those are. Once you fuck your kid up, and your kid fucks your grandkid up, and your grandkid fucks your great-grandkid up, you have officially made a generational curse. And that is because that child does not know how to fix it. And so they just instill it in their child. And now everything is just all fucked up. And now you're wondering why you can probably come back from the dead and look at your bloodline and be like, what the fuck happened? It could have been you. You could have been the person to fix all that. Generational curses are the domino effects of the parent. So at this point, we now have to be careful, be mindful, be understanding. Even as an auntie, an uncle, you don't have to necessarily be a parent. Just as if you can, as long as you are somebody's favorite person, like they'll be like, oh, I got a favorite auntie, or I got a favorite uncle. You have officially become their role model guardian, and that. At that point, you now have to put on your shoes, them big ass big boy shoes, and know that you have a responsibility to be mindful of what you say and what you do and how you act in front of that person, because you are now sculpting the next, who knows, like you never know what the possibilities could be. But once you become that person's role model, they are picking up and perceiving everything that you do. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't have to be a parent. Like with me being an aunt, I'm the shit to the kids because I don't do nothing but kick it with the kids. I let the kid be a fucking kid. We go out and we kick it, nigga. We go to the park. We go to, you know what I'm saying? We go anywhere. We go anywhere that kid want to go. We go get McDonald's because they usually want to go get McDonald's. I don't know why. That is nasty, and I gotta wait 2 hours because they want to go into the play place one to eat, because I'm not eating that shit. So it don't get me wrong, it cramps everything, but the kids love it, and they do nothing. And then the whole time we're at the park, or the whole time we're at McDonald's, or the whole time we just out walking, kicking it, playing kickball, whatever we're doing, the kids are just talking to me. Hey, TT, you know this? Yes. And I break it down to the best of the information I know how for a kid to understand, because at that point, that kid is learning from me. That kid is learning so much from me. Just because they're in that mode to open up their mind, and they're willing to ask questions, and they want to learn. And if they come to me for that they trust that I have the answer. And if I don't, we'll sit there, we'll Google it, we'll figure it out. But I've always been like that with the kids. I just been close with them because fucking the kid's mind up, it makes a worse world than what we already got. And I don't want to be that. I'm already fucked up, and not saying that I'm just fucked up, but because there's certain things in life right now that I am mentally working through that I feel like should have, could have been avoided simply through talks. Certain things from, that guardian or that parent or whoever I wanted to confide in at that time, and didn't have that. So it's very, very critical. Even if it's a random kid on the street and they just walk up and ask you a question, and your answer could make or break that child. Just be mindful. Even as an adult, be mindful to any child. It doesn't, like I actually started off with family and parents, but it's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. So just as a human, as a person, be mindful. Just think about what you do. Think about who, what you say around children. Now, when you by yourself, by all means, lose your shit, because you're an adult. You can do that. But it's just kids. Be very mindful of kids. Be very mindful what you say and how you perceive kids. You could make or break their future. And if you're an adult, then you need to break that cycle. And you need to break it starting with you first. Break it inside yourself. Pursue whatever you're doing, whatever your fear is, whatever's stopping you. Shoot for the stars. And once you do that, the energy you give everyone else around you will make them do the same. even with your children. So start with you. Change you first, and then work our way outside. But if you've already been scarred from a parent, then I advise you to immediately get up, go talk to them, and you're doing the talking. At the time when you pull up, tell them, or when you talk to them, tell them, I'm doing the talking, you're just listening. I forgive you. And let it go. Easier said than done. Trust me. Takes years. But let it the fuck go. Immediately. As soon as you do, you'll see. But domino effect stops now. Unless you just want to be a part of the problem. Then by all means, do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to be a part of the problem, then yeah, don't come over here. Because I ain't trying to make problems. I'm trying to help solutions. So, suck a dick, save a life. But if you want to be a problem, do that. Just don't bring that shit this way. But please, by all means, let's cut some of this shit in half. Cut some of this shit down. If you're a parent, stop the bullshit. If you're a adult that's dealing, go and do whatever the fuck it is you got to do to let it go. And just breathe. And it's all gonna be alright. A day at a time, y'all. But that was Karma Shae. Bringing it to you one time for minding other people's business. What not to do. Stop generational curses. Stop talking shit to people's kids. Stop talking shit to your kids. And forgive your parents. Breaks it all. So, that will be it for today. But I'm going to go ahead and run this song back from the beginning. The song is called Choosing from Young Hive out of Memphis, Tennessee. Please, by all means, check out his music. Check out, hell, the whole bio, because I'm about to right after this. So, by all means, y'all have a wonderful day. Break the generational curses. That's what we're here for. Over and out.
The motherfucking beat. What it do? What it do? Oh, yeah. Hey. First of all, I'm a beat player, bad hoe slayer, Mr. Hard on the hoe, Mr. All about that mad first, ass last. You know I'm asking for it, it's a fee to give a P. Hoes on just the one before Memphis pimpin', drink sippin', hey, smoke like a chimney, laid back, bitch, I'm a Mac. I got Perkins all in me, as I swerve, just the curve down third. Whoa, bitch, I'm acting like a nigga on the bird. It's something about the sauce, she love to see me up, so she gon' sell her soul and bring daddy the bus. No controllers out of luck. I'm laced by the finest. I got these bitches choosing. She love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing cause she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing and she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing. She love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing cause she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing and she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing. She love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining.
Guess they little bit choosing, man. She love the way I'm shining. I'm like, yeah, I guess they go hard. I don't even need them diamonds. It's a Peter for me, hoe like on Nemo. You ain't gon' find me. Be my watch and roll it, but I still ain't found the time yet. You brought for dinner, sipping, pippin', bitch on roller coaster. Cold-hearted ass nigga on curve, the Glover frozen. Hanging on that Parmesan until I got a hangover. On the strip giving guidance to these bitches in the Range Rover. One time when broke bitch out there had panic. They say pimpin' with that one bitch, we was switching different planets. I know if she do not play me, I'ma disappear and vanish. Show that trick that you know magic, let them disappear in panic. I might pull her on the stroll and let her walk. I don't conversate with hoes, you gotta let that money talk. First coast, ass last day, I'm on my pimpin' shit. I can't help it, it's up in the yeah, I'm from Memphis.
I got these bitches choosing cause she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing cause she love the way I'm shining. I got these bitches choosing cause she love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining. She love the way I'm shining.
I'm trying to see something.